This is a short video intended to introduce the new Lakeridge Lottery submittal system. Open any browser on any device and navigate to lrtennis.com. The first screen that appears will show the dates that are available for lottery submissions presently. Usually there will only be 2 days or perhaps 3 for a long weekend. Right now I have 4 up because we're in testing mode. Pick the day that you would like to submit the bid for by clicking on it, and the lottery entry screen comes up. The day of games is repeated here, so you make sure that you're dealing with the correct day. Any special messages appear here. So during the month of May 2015, only these courts are available for the outdoor lottery. Identify yourself by picking yourself in the Submitted by Resident box. Now, anywhere you see one of these search boxes, the operation is similar. You can click in the box and hit the plus, and it will show you a list of residents. And if you're lucky enough to be one of the first few residents by unit number, you can just pick yourself there. But if more likely you're not one of the first few, then you can identify yourself using any convenient notation. For example, I live in unit 407, so if I start typing 407, names that have 407 related to it come up. So myself and my wife, who are residents of unit 407, come up, and that's our user number. Every Lakeridge resident has a unique user number, which is their unit number plus a letter. The other names come up here because these people have authorized one of us to be their agent in submitting bids for them, and they want us to handle it. It's still their bid, it's not our bid, but that's the reason these names are coming up, because they're associated by agency. I also could have just started typing REE, and many answers come up, including ours. Anybody that has REE in it. If I continue typing and say read, then just these names come up. So within a few characters you should be able to get the desired resident up. The system doesn't show choices until you type at least 3 characters. So I'm going to select myself. Now if I were submitting for somebody else here, in this case, I would select them here. I'm not in this case. Now I'm going to first start with my indoor options. So you do both the indoor and the outdoor bid together, or you can do them together. And every permutation of the indoor courts is here, so you can pick whichever you prefer, and then pick the times that you want in priority order. So I'm going to say 9:30, 11, 12:30, and I'm not even going to pick 8 o'clock. And this bid submittal string here shows the status of your bid. So your priority will be the order in which you see the selections listed here. I'm sorry, by time and then by court. If you make a mistake, you just hit the clear button, and then let's say I really want 11, 9:30, 12:30, and 8, and you create your new string. You also can change, so I can say courts 2, 3, and 1 at 9:30, but I would prefer it in 1, 2, 3 order at 11. Of course, I think that's relatively unlikely, so typically you would pick the court order you like, and then just pick the times. Now I'll change to outdoor options. Now notice for May we have a special selection, but let me show you the full-blown outdoor options first. And what we have here, and this is subject to change, we'll probably add to this list, but what you see here are the courts that are available for outdoor lottery bids in various groupings. So the first groupings are by venue. So you have the West Lodge outdoor courts, you have the non-walk-on sports field courts, you have the Upper West Lodge courts, the Upper East Lodge courts, the Lower East Lodge courts, and the platform courts. The other groupings are, for example, soft courts, followed by hard courts followed by soft courts only, and hard courts only. The Pro Court, Court 13, is not available for outdoor bids, and the walk-on courts 10, 11, 12 are not available for outdoor bids. So let's say I wanted to pick my soft courts first, followed by hard courts. I could select that, and then I could say what times I prefer. And the system automatically distinguishes indoor from outdoor courts and puts them into the correct lottery category. Now, continuing with an example here, suppose that I very much prefer soft courts, and I'd rather have soft courts at any time before getting a hard court at any time. So I would pick the soft courts and then list my times in my preference order, and then pick the hard courts and pick my times in preference order. So you can duplicate courts in different times, and or you can duplicate times in different and have different courts in them. And if you overlap both time and court, actually the first one that appears in the string will have precedence. Now, suppose I'm very particular about how I want. I don't just want soft courts. I want soft courts, but I much prefer, let's say, courts 18 and 19 before, and courts 14 and 15, and then 4, 5, and 6, and then 16 and 17. Well, whatever. So you can make any priority string that you like and use that. So if I hit one of the time buttons when there's a string here, it will select that instead of the selection in the bid entry items. Now, if this string represents a court preference that is typical that I want to use in the future, I can hit the Save Custom Bid button by clicking this button here, and the system responds acknowledging that you've saved that screen, and the next time you come in it will be available as a saved selection. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. And then if you want to go back to selecting from the master list, you just click on Clear Custom Bid, and now when I click on my times, it will take from the entry items. If I try to save a custom bid, but there's no bid string, you'll get an error message telling you that you need to create a custom court preference before saving. And similarly, if I had tried to define that bid string and clicked save without having identified myself, the system will also give you an error message telling you it doesn't know where to save the string because you haven't identified yourself yet. Now, let's talk about the special case of Outdoor May 2015, and you'll see that we have lists of courts in different orders. It's not 100%, but you can choose 18 and 19 before 7, 8, and 9, 7, 8, and 9 before 18 and 19, and then 18 and 19 alone, and then 7, 8, and 9 in any combination. And of course, you can define your own custom bid string. Now, I should make clear that you can define more than one custom bid string, and to make that point, I'll define another one that, let's say, instead of being 18 and 19 is 19 and 18. Okay. Now, the bid is not submitted until you hit the disk symbol for save, and you can cancel the bid entry by hitting discard. I should note that the appearance of the screen may look different depending on what device and what resolution you use. So right now I'm using I've set my resolution for to a low level that should be typical of most PCs and tablets. But if you have even a low resolution, or if you're using a phone, it could look a little different. The items might be in different places. And you can also say who you're planning on playing with by entering them here. So let's say I was playing with Rodney Lewis and David Rabinowitz and Robert Schwartz. Okay, the advantage of doing this is that they will be notified and they will appear in the schedule. However, this does not override their ability to make their own bid entries, so it still requires everyone to coordinate. Now let me cancel this and come back in. And so if I go back in and I re-identify myself, then my saved custom strings will come up as an option, and there are these strings I saved, and I can select them, and all of the global options are available as well. So if I have my standard options, I can just pick it and go boom, 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 save, and that's my lottery entry. And then I would do the same thing for the next day. I hope you enjoy the new lottery system, and please feel free to send any questions to D as in David, R-E-E-D as in Reed, dreed at drifab.com. I will spell that for you. D as in Delta, R as in Romeo, I as in India, F as in Foxtrot, A as in Apple, B as in Boy, drifab.com. Thank you.